people are moving into Houston and they are brand new, and maybe they're not quite feeling like they're Texan yet, but they feel it and they know why they really love it. They know when you come here, they know why they feel welcome. And so there is definitely an identity among Texans, I think, that is very distinct. And I think that's part of it. It's not a coincidence in my experience that you have people who have lost their cause and they are out there protesting like crazy because they really don't want to identify with the true cause that they have. And I'll go into that a little bit more. I think what we're talking about when we're talking about the Antifa protesters, it's very interesting that they are surrounding university areas. The people who come to the protests, the Antifa protest, covered in masks, like they can't identify themselves. They come from different causes, but they're all coming from a university type scene. They're either professors or students. And we could rack it up just to be, maybe it's liberal ideology. But it was interesting. I was watching Tucker Carlson last night, and it was very enlightening all of a sudden. He was saying, well, wait a second. He said, does it seem really weird? Maybe there's something wrong with the system. Because you have these people coming out protesting, but they don't seem to be very organized. They don't seem to know what their focus is. It's all over the place. You have signs, anti-white supremacy. You have a lot of anti-white, anti-racism, stuff, that's alt-right, protest against the alt-right. But what does that mean exactly? What is your beef with that? And if you look at the individuals, you'll see, like, if you actually get a hold of any of these individuals, you have people who are like Bernie supporters. You have people who are, and I'm not saying all Bernie supporters are violent, because they mostly cover up their faces. It's just when you get a hold of one of them, they are coming from just a whole bunch of different backgrounds, and it seems that they've taken up the anti-alt-right cause. But that's just not really fitting with their real thing. So what I'm saying is that I think they're using this strong arm. I think they've never had like this strong man to come in and mess things up for them, like to fight in their defense. And here this Antifa force with masks like terrorists, I don't see how it's any different than men with white sheets. So they wear black sheets and black stuff all over their faces, and so you can't see their identity. Because once you knew their identity, you would be like, but aren't you a student? Maybe you're just really interested in protesting capitalism. Maybe you're just, you're really afraid of getting a job. You're really afraid of leaving the university because it's like a little communist little place. I mean, it's kind of cool. You got everything where you need it. If you really needed medical help, the university gives that to you. You really have everything that you need. Why would you leave? It's just like leaving home, but not. And your parents may even still pay for it. Or you can get the university to pay for your job because you'll promise to teach there if they give you a house and some food. So I feel you if you're afraid of jumping out of that second nest. But maybe your protest is capitalism. Maybe you're a communist. But you're not a anti-white supremacist. I mean, everybody's an anti-white supremacist. That's my point, is that this seems like a cause that doesn't really fit you. Or you. But you wear the black mask all over your thing, and you go out and you create havoc and chaos, and you break things and you burn stuff, and people think you're one force. One force against the government. But why? Why do you think that that's a force that's going to have any effectiveness? Why do you not heed the advice of Martin Luther King Jr., who says, violence is not going to help you? And it wouldn't. If you want to be you and own your identity and own what you believe in, you don't need this mask. You get to go out and protest whatever you want to say, whatever you want to believe. You want to be a witch? You want to be that religion? You want to be a communist? You want to be a socialist? You want to protest capitalism? You want to protest the president? You can do that without a mask. Martin Luther King said you can do that without a mask. And the more that people ruin it with violence, the less security we all have, the less progress we're going to make. There's no way we're going to make any efficient progress with violence. But yet these Antifa people need to wear a mask so they can hide their identity. And we don't want to have them hide their identity. We want to know what they want to say. But they have all kinds of levels of people have taken up this to dress up like them because they want to empower the ones who are willing to do the violence. And I have proof. I have a Instagram photo from someone that I follow. Okay, so let me tell you this story. This group, I don't know if I should mention their name because I really just don't want to get into that. Nobody knows who they are. Okay, I'm really into music. I really love all kinds of music. I love good music. And when I listen to something that really, gets me, I want to know who the individuals are. I want to go and look up that band. I want to look up and see if I can, see them somewhere. And this particular band, it does like a little techno and computer work, and they have a very video gamey sound. And I've only, really fell in love with a couple of their songs, but they're real catchy and I love them. So I'm listening to their songs that I like, and I'm teaching my kids, look how cool this music is, and I show them the instruments that they use and everything like that. Well, I get and I see an Instagram invitation, so I follow them, and I'm following them. Yesterday, I happened to look on Instagram. I'm not a big Instagram person, but I get on there, and there is a picture of this relatively unknown band, all dressed up in all black with black masks and wearing cloaks like witches, black cloaks, and a black pointy hat, black witches, black hats for witches, and a black outfit and a black cover-up looking like Antifa witches. And then they've got signs saying anti-white supremacist signs on Instagram from this group. And it occurs to me, okay. And I was like, great. And I was like, well, you had 5 fans, you just lost 1. Now you got 4. And I had to say, you guys have so much freedom. I wish you would use it more wisely. You just lost a fan. And they actually responded to me. Now think about that. Honestly, they have probably thousands of fans. You've never heard of them if I told you. And they answered me. And what they said was, fine, go listen to your Ted Nugent and your Guns N' Roses. Like, how do you respond to that? You don't respond to it because it's stupid. It's asinine. It's bigotry. Why do you assume I listen to Guns N' Roses and Ted Nugent? I honestly don't. It's not because I don't like them. It's just that it's not my kind of music. And I like all kinds of music, but that really doesn't catchy. It's not catchy to me. So I don't watch that. I don't listen to it. If I want to listen to it, I will. But what I'm now not going to be able to listen to without thinking about these idiots is their music. I'm not going to be able to support them. I would never go to their concert in a million years. Because they have chosen to support by dressing up like Antifa and going to a protest and acting like them. They are enabling the violence to happen. And there is no question about it. And then I realized, you know what? I know a lot about this group. I do. This group happens to be from a university scene. I think the lead singer is a professor. I know that some of the videos that they've done and the equipment that they use and the college that they are from is, pretty wealthy. So, in essence, they are spoiled, rich white kids. Now they're adults, but still living in the university scene. So really, they're just anti-capitalism. Really, they're probably just anti-Trump. But they don't have the balls to come out with their faces, even though they're putting it on Instagram that has already identified them. And they're putting the everything on. They want to be witches. They want to be activists. They want to be musicians. I'm confused. This is what I'm saying, is that by dressing up like it, they enable the mass of anonymity to enable the strong arm, which is the Antifa radicals who do like to do the violence, who do have no real stake in any of it. For all we know, they're being paid by Soros. And these fools are enabling that, trying to get us to think that they have a real cause, that they really are willing to fight for the cause they believe in. I really don't think that. I think they're having someone else fight to take down a government they don't agree with anymore, that they really wish would just take care of them, because they like that. They don't think it's fair. Let's just put it this way. I think it's a little bit of rich white kid living off the university system guilt. Why can't everyone live like this? Well, because their rich mommy and daddy didn't send them to the university. And I don't think that all professors act like this. I think men and women who work their butts off to get into school can't wait to get out of school, because it's expensive and it's hard, and people told them it wasn't right for them, or maybe it wasn't a good fit for them, but yet they had the determination to lead themselves into success, and they ain't gonna sit in college. They're not gonna settle for university professor. They want to do something with that. They want to make their country great again. They want to make gazillions of dollars through their hard work and determination that they know that they have. Just think about that for a minute. What's the big difference? Now, I'm not saying that professors aren't wonderful, but how about that element? That element of those who get into university life who really can't get out of it, either because they're afraid to leave it, or they really didn't get a job, they couldn't get a job for the degree that they got, which is a huge problem. A lot of people were forced into college not really knowing what they wanted to do. Maybe they have the brains for it, but they don't want to do anything. So they've done so many different things that they really don't know. I know that. Or they did one thing that nobody gives a damn about, and so now they're teaching it. And the only way that they're going to survive on this planet is living off of the university. And that is seeping out and to the rest of us now that they have a strong arm. You know, going out of the university with the protest of anti-capitalism, it's just, you know, the biggest one that we had was what the sit-in on Wall Street, right? And that was really successful, let me tell you. That did a lot of good. No, I'm being very sarcastic right now. It was a horrible mess. They left trash. They polluted. They didn't change anything as far as our economy goes. And they didn't prove anything to any corporation or any business that they needed to improve themselves. Like these people had some big moral compass that they were handing up to the businesses. In fact, they proved the opposite. That they are polluting and disgusting and don't do anything for anybody but themselves. And they expected some kind of change from that. Well, now they've got this crazy radical element that seems to want to come to their parties, seems to want to come to their aid. Now, I wonder, though, my big question is, how much of this kind of anonymity grabbing, violence encouraging demonstration added to the failure of the Democratic Party in the campaign? You saw a lot of this in 2016. So my big question is, yes, Hillary was a mess, but do you think that maybe, just maybe, this demonstration of just not really being real and just being violent and really explicitly prove you really don't have a goal here? So I think that might have had something to do with it. And I don't think that it's going to improve for the Democratic Party if this type of thing keeps going on. So just note that I don't think it's going to bring any governments down. I don't think it's going to do anything for your cause. Let's do a commercial and we'll be right back.
What the devil are you doing in the street dressed like that?
Sheriff, I'm the kilted realtor. I'm here to sell this house. You know, Scottish, kilt.
Oh, yes, I get it. Like Braveheart. Just like Braveheart.
Yes, sir. Whatever works, Sheriff.
So tell me now, how exactly do you sell a house dressed like that?
Well, Sheriff, my name is Corey McDonald, and we Scots are known for a hard work ethic and that we can be trusted.
Oof, that gives me an idea. Do you think that you could help me get my young son Junior in a house?
Well, Sheriff, I'd be proud to find Junior a house and walk him through step by step.
I can't wait to tell Junior he's moving out.
Well, Sheriff, you tell Junior and anyone else you know they can reach me at 832-638-2379 or go to my website, kilted-realtor.com.
This is my lucky day. So long, Junior. You got a new home thanks to the Kilted Realtor.
but this whiskey should do the trick. He only lets me on the dance floor. He must be crazy, holding on to me so tight underneath the neon lights. I shouldn't let him. I must be crazy, but here we go round and round. Our silence underneath the sound. I need to leave. Look at him staring at me. I'm walking on Temptation Street. I know his thoughts. They're saying, come back to me, and I can't help but get lost. He only lets me on the dance floor. He must be crazy, holding on to me so tight underneath the neon lights. I shouldn't let him. I must be crazy, but here we go round and round. Our silence underneath the sound. He only lets me on the dance floor. He must be crazy, holding on to me so tight underneath the neon lights. I shouldn't let him. I must be crazy, but here we go round and round. He only lets me on the dance floor.
All right, so we're back. Hopefully, our guest will be able to join us soon. We're always having fun over here. I mean it. This message is important. It wouldn't be so inhibited all the time and obstructed all the time. It wasn't so important. I think there's stuff coming out soon in regards to all of this. I just feel like this proves once and for all that the organization skills, and I think that sounds so simplistic, but the ability for our president to use his determined leadership and to show you what kind of things can happen from that, what kind of things can be built from that. That's what I mean when I say organization skills. They're really unmatched. There's really unmatchable things about that president. And that's part of the bitterness. That's part of the situation. That's why there is such a, I don't know, dragging the feet, that sort of thing, obstructionist attitude, a doubting Thomas, lack of faith within the establishment with our president. And they use all kinds of excuses. They use his temperament. They use his ability to speak the truth. And I say ability in that it really is a skill. They don't have it. They don't know what it means to say what you mean. Because every word that they say is controversy. It could be controversy. And so they go with the script. I showed you a clip about a week ago of a young man anchor on CNN, and Morgan Freeman was on there, and this anchor guy could not understand that Morgan Freeman did not believe that it was a good idea to race bait. And of course, he doesn't think of it as race baiting, but Morgan Freeman sees it exactly like that. But he was so eloquent and so caring of this young man who is African American, and he was saying, it's probably not a really good thing to keep saying. You keep saying it does divide the country more and more every time you speak that way, is basically what Morgan Freeman was saying. And this guy was like, oh my gosh, please help me. I mean, this is what you saw in his eyes. He was like, every day I come on here and I feel like I'm constantly talking about race issues when I don't really believe it's that bad. I mean, he's like, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. He actually said that because he knows everything he says that's contrary to what his script did could be controversy, could be the end of his career. Now, I'll tell you it's not. Because I saw the dumbest report yesterday reported by this young man who has not deviated from the script, even though he has had a glimmer of light. He has had the guru, wise man, come to him and shed a little light into his brain and into his heart, and he still works for CNN. You know who you are. It is a skill to be able to say the truth and own it. As harsh as it is, as ugly as it is, if it's what needs to be said, he's going to say it. If he should say nothing at all, he won't say it. But he's not going to lie to you. He's not going to enable you to choose one side or the other when it's a wrong decision or it's a wrong way to go or something he doesn't believe truthfully in his heart is the way to go. So speaking truth is a skill, and this ability to build things and make things happen is his talent. And they have had so much denial in regards to that. And they've had every excuse in the book that doesn't mean jack to anybody, who really appreciates the truth and would really like things to start moving forward and would really like them to stop making excuses. Especially when, they won't make any excuses for themselves. It's still in everyone else's court. It's not our fault this isn't working out. It is not our fault we have to go on vacation and we can't do what we need to do. Yes, it is your fault you can't do anything right or do anything that we want you to do. So, come on. Now, President Trump has just gone ahead and proven to you that his determined leadership does some really great things, and it has really proven results. It works really well with the rest of us, who also have determination in our hearts and are really determined to make this country great again, alongside our president. It's like 50% or more of this country. We're on board. We have a really good scientific guesstimate that this is all going to work out. Please take our word for it. And some of the proof is this disaster and how it has turned out. I said in the last hour, or in the last few minutes, 8,000 people, some odd, have been rescued so far. 8,000 people. Imagine that rescue operation. There are diapers, there are churches, there are buildings that are open for taking these people in. The president had said, When you get to that limit, let me know what you need. They opened the district, many more counties into the disaster relief fund. So basically, any individual or entity that has been hurt by this in those counties can go to disasterrelief.org. So if you're hearing me, go to disasterrelief.org and go tell them what you got to do, to get your life back in order, and they will help you. It's really odd to see Facebook pictures of my high school lined with diapers and things and all my high school friends. I mean, what a high school reunion. But it's great. It's wonderful to see them alive, and it's wonderful to see them empowered like that. And one of the other things is I was watching Fox News, but there was a local Fox News guy on Fox 26, and he had gone to, based on a Facebook posting, that a levee was in danger of breaking or had maybe broken. Excuse me. He rushed out there, a police officer rushed out there, volunteers rushed out there, all kinds of people rushed out there, made sandbags, brought out snacks, all kinds of things, and to just make sure that devastation didn't happen. Like, proactive with Facebook and cops and people, and it was amazing. And the news was there to catch it. And the police officer was like, no, he said, it's not broken, it's stabilized. He's like, if it does get more water, we're screwed, and this is what's going to happen. And he explained everything. This police officer, he's not a Army Corps of Engineer, an engineer's engineer. He is a police officer, but he knows how it works. And he was determined to get to that levee and make sure that it was still intact and get the word out that it was, so people didn't panic. But that also we could do something about it. It's amazing. It's not, you're always like, oh, well, people knew about it, but they didn't do anything. Or they did something about it, but it didn't work. And somebody wanted to do something about it, but they didn't know how. All of these things, all these little puzzle pieces are fitting together because of the determined leadership of these people. And the police officer was there with the man from Fox 26, and he was saying, no, don't worry, it is not broken. This is what happened. This is what it looks like when it has broken. And the Fox News guy was like, okay, great. So we can tell everybody it is not broken right now. And he's like, no. And the police officer is like, he kind of like took a deep breath, because he was like, oh, I can't let you go without telling you something from my heart. And that's not the police officer's job. Usually the reporter is going to cut you off as soon as they find out what they need, and they're going to get the hell out of there. But this police officer said, hey, if you have one more second, can I say something? And he said, and they didn't write his name down. It was like a tape of a tape. But the cop was saying, thank you so much, community. He's like, just let me say to the community. And he was about to lose it, but he was in tears too. He was emotional. And he says, to the community who came out in response, he goes, he said it was amazing. He says, there's people, like I just described, snacks, making sure anything that we needed was here. Like I said, someone had a big ass pile of dirt, and they brought in their dirt because of a Facebook post in the middle of everything that's going on. They didn't say, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to get my feet wet. I'm not going to risk everything. What if I can't get back? What is it? They said, I got a dirt, I got a truck, I got a boat, I'm going. And that's what they did. And this police officer was saying, don't you not record this. Don't pass this by. Don't forget about these people who came out like this and did this. They did this. And he wanted to thank all of them. But it was also because he wants everybody to pay attention. And so kudos to him. And Team Trump, this is what I'm talking about, real organization. Team Trump sent me a text with about a dozen or almost a dozen different links to safety and charitable organizations. So including 3 animal shelters. And these are all places that are relevant to Texas. So like, I mean, I got a text. All I got to do is click on them and give money. That's just the kind of involvement that I'm saying, you know, you may not think that's sentimentally awesome, but it's something. It's every little tiny thing that you can do counts and helps, and they are pulling them out. Not a bear. You're such a weird person. You're so dirty. I didn't say out of there. He's not pulling him out of there. He's pulling him out of his magic hat. But things that you can't pull out of your magic hat are, you know, replacing the power lines and that sort of thing. They still need urgently power in the lower coastal areas like Port Aransas, Aransas Pass. It sucks to be out of power. No connection. You can't charge your phones. You can't be in connection of your loved ones. It's very stressful when you can't communicate with other people that you're okay. But it's going to be all right. They are way ahead of the game. There was like 3 other power companies and power teams that have come online. Greg Abbott came out this afternoon and gave us all an update again. So here we are, sunny days. Mainstream media has pretty much forgotten it. They're ready to talk about Katrina again because it's moved into Louisiana. But Fox is still covering it, and our people are still in it. Our governor gave us an update, and that was really awesome. That's part of the great organization that's going on here. But like I said, just even a simple text from the Trump team with easy access to donations, to making donations to shelters and finding out what they need at, you know, the Salvation Army and United Way and the American Red Cross and the Humane Society and the SPCA of Houston and Louisiana, or of Texas and Louisiana. So, hope you got that text. I'll send it to you if you want me to. But it's just amazing, and I hope that this proves that these people who suck at what they do for a living, who have been bestowed upon them the power of leadership and still don't have any determination, look at this. And it's not that you have to do this. It's not that we're asking you to be determined. Just trust that the thing that you've been saying your president can't do because it's in the government now. His skills don't apply to government workings. Take note. This was a government working, and it is working. It's working. It's working quite well. I'm Texas. I have an identity in my state. Something that, you know, Antifa and all these people are trying to, you know, get you to not have an identity, totally anonymous. You don't want to be anonymous. You want to have an identity. You want to be someone who has principles, someone who has beliefs, so that they can effectively communicate their ideas, whatever those are. There's no need for violence. So, well, they need to be written off. All those people who have decided that the president's leadership and his determination to get things done and ability to do so, if they don't want to get on that train, then they need to step off. They need to get back. FEMA, like I said, Brock Long took up those reins and did that well, and everybody did that well. Again, really big kudos to Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston, all the police officers that risked their lives, all the first responders, the Coast Guard, I love you, and all of my friends and neighbors that are out there that are still treading, your webbed feet will go back in. The little web toes that you have started to grow, they will go away. We were in a little false cool here because the cold front's coming down and pushing this stuff out of the way. Thank you for all of your thoughts and prayers. They do work. They have been working. They did work. We are in a lot less of a bog than we could have been. And you know that your determined leadership works. So own it and go with it. And and know that identity has something to do with that. Knowing that you are not going to defer responsibility to someone else or some other identity. That you know that you couldn't live with yourself if you didn't go out with your boat and your supplies. If that was really your feeling, if God was really telling you that that's what you needed to do and you went and did it, it's because you have a principle, you have an identity. You know that security and prosperity and faith need to be restored for all of us to have freedom. You know that. And so when you went out and you did what you did, it's because you have an identity. You are Texas. You own that. And it was so cool to see the president come down and fly the Texas flag. Because I had to go outside and I had to put my flag out because the president was coming, not to my house, but he's coming to my city, so I got to put my flag out. And I said, oh, okay, so do I put my American flag out or do I put my Texas flag out? I'm in the process of building another thing. But I chose my Texas flag, even though the president is coming, and it's not because I'm seceding from the Union.